welcome to episode 6 of Handmade by Susan. I'm Susan, obviously. Thanks for being here. And if you are a current subscriber, thanks so much for coming back. And if you're new here, welcome. It's been a while, a couple weeks since I sat in front of the camera to talk to you about all the things that I've been making. And I have some time today, so I thought let's quickly put together a video while I can. So from episode 6, I talked about how I was going to draw a winner who takes the opportunity to leave me a comment. So I've inserted into a comment generator, and Peggy B, you've been selected as a winner. So I will reach out to you, I'll private message you and work with you to get you one of the projects back that I have as just a little thank you gift, and I hope you like it. So Peggy, again, you're the winner, and I will reach out to you. So I have a couple things here today. Obviously, I'm wearing it. This is my No Frills Cardigan by PetiteKnit. And so let me just stand out real quick and show you what this looks like. Hopefully you can see it on the screen. So I made it shorter than it calls for. I skipped the pocket. It's pretty simple construction. You start in the back of the neck. You move down and you separate for the sleeves. I made the sleeves shorter than what the pattern called for as well, I think by 2 inches. And there's no buttonhole. It's super simple, it just comes down. I absolutely love this finished product. The yarn I used was 2 different yarn held double, and it's knitting by Olive Mohair. And the other yarn, I think it's called Isager. I'm pretty sure I'm sure I'm not saying it right, but I will put the name here on the screen so you can see it. Now, I have worked with Mohair in the past, and this is my favorite Mohair because, why, you ask? When I'm knitting it, I'm not eating it. And if you've worked with Mohair before, I think you know what I mean. Usually Mohair is the super thin fiber that kind of just flies in the air. And so I just feel like I'm constantly trying to take it off my lips, especially if I'm wearing lip gloss. It just sticks to you, right? But this Knitting by Olive is just such a great yarn. It just, you don't realize you're knitting with Mohair. It's so easy to work with. And I don't exactly remember the colorway, but I have it all on my Ravelry page, and you should be able to find my Ravelry information in the down bar below. So I'll include a link so you could go there directly and look at my project notes. I pretty much made no modification to the project. I just followed the direction by PetiteKnit. This is my second No Frills sweater by her. I've also made a no frills sweater, and this is the cardigan version, and I really, really love it. I think it called for 12 or 14 decreases on the sleeves, and I only did 10. And then just did a quick decrease to the final number of stitches that the pattern called for, and did the ribbing because otherwise it was going to be way too long. And so I don't know about you when you make sweaters, but I like to try it on as I go because I feel like it gives you a real understanding of how this garment's going to look on you. And I absolutely don't mind ripping it out and redoing it because to me, I feel like I think I'm probably a process knitter. I don't mind knitting the garment again and again. However, I do mind if the final finished product doesn't fit me, because then what's the point? Who wants to store a piece of garment in your closet and taking out valuable space and you're not going to wear it? So instead of trying to find someone who will fit into a garment that you made that doesn't fit you, it's easier to just rip back couple inches and start over. I mean, you've invested in the pattern, you invested in the yarn, you invested in the time. You may as well make it and remake it, and so that it fits you well, right? And so same thing here. I think for this pattern, the beginning when you cast on the back and you kind of knit down, it is a little foreign to me. I'm not used to making sweater and constructing it this way, and so I had to redo it several times, maybe like 5 times. But I didn't mind it because if I wasn't knitting on this, I would have been knitting something else, right? And another thing is when I'm knitting in general, I like to use circular needle. However, when I do sleeves, I love to do it on double point. There's just something about circular and the short number of stitches, and then constantly having to pull the ends, and I think you know what I mean when you work with circular. I just find it easier to work on double point when I'm doing sleeves. And something else I do when I do sleeves is as soon as I start one, I quickly finish, and then I quickly move on to the next one. I find that sleeves, if you let it linger, and the more time it passes, the less I am willing to pick it up again, because I just don't exactly remember like how many decreases I've done, like how I'm supposed to do the decrease, and then trying to mirror what I did with one sleeve with the other. It's just impossible to remember. I mean, you can write all the notes you want, but when you look at it again, it's like French to me. Like I completely don't understand what I was doing months ago. So my pet peeve when I'm working on a sweater is as soon as I get to the sleeve, I just power through. I power through one of them, quickly do the other one. It's kind of like knitting socks, right? When you cast off one sock, you want to quickly cast on the other. So then you don't forget like how many stitches did I cast on? Like what am I supposed to do? Because I feel like if you have something started, it's easier to finish it than to start from the very beginning. So that's my thing with sleeves, and I hope that helps you if you feel like sometimes you're stuck with a sweater and you just can't get it off the needle. I just know that once I'm on the sleeves, let's just get it done. And so love this pattern, love the yarn, highly recommend it. I'm thinking maybe I'll make another, but I say that with everything I make and I never go back and make another. So we'll see. But this was so mindless, super simple. You don't even have to think about it. It kind of just knits up itself. The yarn is great to work with. So happy with the way it came out, the halo. So soft, so comfortable and light and airy. I'm not a fan of big bulky sweater. I find those extremely uncomfortable. So anytime I have an opportunity to hold yarn double with mohair, I think that's my current obsession. The other thing I want to show you is a finished product from a couple months ago. Check him out. This is Waffles Puppy by Susan B. Anderson. I love Susan B. Anderson. I think she's a great person. She comes across so genuine and kind, and all her patterns are so well written. I'm a huge fan of amigurumi and knitting dolls and stuffed animals. As you can see some of the ones behind me, but this is actually knitted, and I don't know if I have a preference. I love knitting and crocheting animals, and so there's really no preference, but look how cute he is. His sweater comes off. You can unbutton this and take it off. I actually made two. I was going to gift this to a friend, and my daughter loved this so much, so I made her one, but I didn't end up gifting this, so I ended up having two, and I don't mind it at all because he's so cute. So I highly recommend this pattern. I'll put the link in the down bar below. One suggestion I have for you is sometimes we think we're making amigurumi or knitting dolls and animals. We don't need to use good yarn. That's actually a mistake. I have learned that when I work with acrylic yarn for stuffed animal, it just doesn't, the facial expression doesn't quite come out the way they do with yarn that I would use to make sweater. Now, I know many of you don't mind acrylic yarn, and nothing against that, right? I mean, all yarn is great. But I just really find that even though it's a stuffed animal that you're not going to put on your body, I do find using good yarn to make a difference. So let me just show you. So I have a bin that stores all my amigurumi and stuffed animal yarn that I use. And so for usually when I make animal for the body itself, I love to use Barocco Vintage DK. I find this to be a really good yarn, really good price point. And this is one of my favorite colors. And I think this is like oats of some sort. Let me see if I can find the color. Well, it just says color 2105. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell me the name, but you know, these are some of the colors I love to work with. And it's all Barocco. And it's just such a basic color for stuffed animal. It doesn't matter if it's a bunny, if it's elephant, it's a bear, it's a dog. You could use this pretty much, right? And then sometimes for the body, for the sweater, I usually get swish This is knit with Knit Picks yarn, and I think this is DK right? And then this is also, I think I mentioned a DK. So I like to use DK to knit stuffy. And this, the price point is so good. I have it like in every color. So I like primary color, and so I usually have quite a few, and I just keep all my yarn for stuffed animal in this bin, so when I need something, I just come here. And I usually throw in some of these moth repellents into these container, because I don't know if it works, but it makes me feel better knowing that my yarn is protected by these unwelcome creatures. So those go into a bin. And another pattern, so I thought while I was gathering up a few things for the episode, I thought I would gather all my Susan B. Anderson items. So here's another one that I made. This is her Mermaid pattern that she released pretty recently. And this is such a great scrap buster project. I made this mermaid all with leftover scrap yarn from sock projects that I've done in the past. And then for the top of the bun that I created, I just stranded some beads around it, so it kind of looks like a crown. I was thinking she's wearing a bikini. She's got a little fin. I actually made several and gifted them to my niece and my daughter's friends. So Susan B. Anderson patterns, highly recommend them. So well written, super easy to follow. Obviously, this mermaid one was made with fingering weight yarn, for yarn that I use for socks in general. But I'm sure you could make this in DK and it would just be bigger. Really fun, highly recommended. Something else I wanted to show you before I move on from stuffed animals are the safety eyes that are used. So you can see this is a 6mm safety eyes, same thing. And then for the nose, I think these were 20mm triangle nose. I bought everything off Amazon. I'll include the link below. And usually what I do is I like to see how people store things. So that's why when I show you, I show you where I store them. So this is the bag that I got from a swap years ago. I don't know if you remember, but there used to be these Yahoo groups where you could sign up to be a part of, and you make things and you swap with other makers. So I got locked out and partnered with a fantastic sewer, and look at this beautiful bag she made with the Dresden plates. And so in this bag, I keep all my beads for safety eyes and that type of beads. So for example, I have all the nose that's needed in this container. It doesn't tell me the size, and so I created my own little labels so I don't forget. I mean, when things arrive at your door and you're into something, it all makes sense to you. But once you put it away and 8 months later, you look at this, you're thinking, what size was this that I ordered, right? So I always write it down. And then I have a container for all the eyes. So you can see I wrote down all the numbers. So it just helps me keep track. I have another bin of miscellaneous, really don't know what these are. And then in here, I also keep my embroidery floss. I don't do cross stitching. It's something I haven't gotten into, and I think I may just keep it that way. I think I have enough hobbies and so little time. I'm not sure I really want to go down another rabbit hole. But basically, I keep all their safety eyes and embroidery threads, which I sometimes use to make their face, all in this cute little bag that I got from somebody online many years ago. While we're on the subject of bags, let me show you what my friends made me. I belong to a knit group, and I love all the ladies that are part of my knit groups. They are such an important part of my life. One of the ladies I know, she sews like nobody's business. She whips up a quilt like within days. And when she's into making bags, she pops them out like two a day, and you blink and then she's got 10, right? And so she made me this little project bag. I think this is called, she said that this is by Indigo Bird Design, the Sierra Tote. Look how cute it is. She's got pockets on the inside to help you organize your knitting. So my sock project is in here. It's got the like two, obviously a handle, 2 pockets on each side. And she didn't just make me one, she made me 2. Here's another one. And it's just so cute. And I went on a picnic with my son the other day and I used it as a little lunch bag. And it was just so cute. Like small things like this just bring me so much joy to be able to, take a little handmade lunch bag onto the field, peanut butter jelly sandwich, these small things, they just make me so happy. So I love those bags. And thanks to my dear friend for putting these together for us. And it's all made with canvas fabric, so it's got a little bit of weight to it. The lining that she used is so cute, and she said it's a great pattern. And I know Indigo design is pretty famous, so I'll put her the designer's information, the down bar below, in case you're interested in making some. I think I may have to check it out and make a few myself as well, because it looks really fun to make. Another thing that I've been sewing is by, what's her name? It's one of Michelle's patterns. I don't know if you know her, but she's new to me. I've never really heard of her before, but I came across her pattern, and it's the Mending Kit. So I sewed up this little storage container, and it's got a snap, and if you open it, it's got a compartment here. You open it, there's additional compartments on the inside and obviously on top. So this was really fun to whip up, except it's pretty thick, right? Because it needs a little bit of a structure to it. And so turning that just wasn't so fun, and sewing through so many layers was not enjoyable to me. So I think I'm just gonna stop at 1. And honestly, like I don't like the way it crinkles here. It's a great pattern though. I think I didn't use the right batting for this. And so if I had used the canvas that Michelle called for, I think it would have been a different experience. And obviously I'm obsessed with this design. I think this would be so cute to throw into your knitting project bag. But I think that I just have so many things I want to make. I don't know if I want to try another one with canvas material, but if you like the style, I recommend her pattern. It's quite cute. And there's a couple of projects I want to work on. I don't know if you've seen, her name is This Yellow Farmhouse. It's a podcast I'm really enjoying. She loves to make socks, and she recently released a sock called Country Cabin Knit Socks. I'm seriously thinking about casting this on. It's made with worsted weight yarn, size 7, and it's got simple cables going down the sock. And so I think just the fact that it's larger size needle, heavier weight yarn, cable design, it just sounds so classic and cozy to me in time for the winter. So I was thinking maybe I'll give that a try. I don't know if you're a fingering weight yarn person for socks. Usually I am. But I just want to give something else a try. And I always have extra skein of worsted weight yarn left from sweater. And I thought it would be a perfect way to use them up and make a pair of socks. And I recently put together a tutorial on how I finish socks and how I weave in ends when I'm done with a pair of socks. So I will post those onto YouTube, and you can take a look, and I'm sure they're much better way of doing it than I know, but that's just how I do it, and I thought it would be helpful to put together a video in case anyone is interested in how I finish my socks. So I'll put that up just as FYI. But obviously, if you know a different way or easier way, better way than what's shown, I love to hear from you how you do it. And I think that's all I got today. Just a quick episode. I want to share with you what I've been up to. I really want to finish my dinosaur quilt. So I think I may just kind of muster up some energy and finish that up. I kind of put those away in a box and haven't taken it out since then, but I really want to finish that project. So I will go look for my box and take it out and just lay it out in front of me so it reminds me that I have a project to finish. Now the sweater is finished. I need to find another sweater that I could work on. I think it's got to be something with mohair because I kind of love the way it looks and the texture that it creates. Super happy with the sweater and look forward to another pattern by, I think it's going to be PetiteKnit because I'm kind of obsessed with her pattern. If you've enjoyed this episode, please hit subscribe or like, and I look forward to catching up with you again next time. I hope you're doing well and that you're enjoying summer, and I appreciate you so much for coming by and leaving me a comment. It really makes my day. Thanks, take care, bye.